Hey everyone, so I'm going to make this quick video about what to do if you're considering replacing a roof on your property and what to pay attention to, where you can save some money, where it might cost you a little more upfront but save money in the long run, and so on. So first of all, I just want to talk about, shingle roofs will last about like 25 years or so, right? 20 to 25 years. Tile roofs, barrel tile roofs, are going to last probably around 35 to 50 years. And then flat roofs are probably going to be about 10 years. Now, uh, what you have might be determined by your association. So you might be forced to do a tile roof or perhaps no tile roofs allowed. And then obviously flat areas that have a lower pitch than like a 3/12, those are required to be flat. Roof. And flat roof is a modified bitumen product, which is just more expensive in general. And a tile roof is a lot more expensive than that. So in a nutshell, shingle roofs are the cheapest way to go. Now, what kind of option might you have? First of all, you're going to have the option of what quality of the shingle you're going to use. So I always recommend just spend a little bit extra. It's probably 5% more, maybe, and you're going to get the 30 or 35 year rated shingles. If you have a lot of trees over you, then more so go with that decision. It's not going to save you any money on insurance. It's just going to kind of last a little bit longer, but that might not matter. So if you're going to live in the property for a short time, under 15 years and you're redoing your roof, then it doesn't really matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because of insurance. When an insurance in Florida company sees that your roof is 15 years or older, they don't want to insure it. So even if you got the 35-year shingle, it doesn't matter. They don't care. Even if you got the secondary water barrier upgraded, it doesn't matter. I'll talk about that in a second. So it only matters really if you're going to live there and you're going to use it and you're not going to be switching up your insurance companies. Or if you have it paid off and you're not even going to have insurance, well, then that doesn't matter at all. So next thing is the secondary water barrier. So the way I like to explain it is, there's your house, right? And then there is on top of all the trusses and all of that, there's a like a plywood or OSB board, and then and that's hard. That's what you can walk on. And then there's a secondary water barrier, and then the shingles or the tiles, and so on. So that secondary water barrier could be felt, which they literally just hammer in with these like nails with these round orange things on it, or it could be a peel and stick, which is basically a big roll. They kind of like roll it out and then they overlap it 6 inches usually, sometimes a little bit more, and then they kind of keep going down so that it's really your first line, your second line of defense against water intrusion. And the felt one is also a rollout, but they nail it in, right? So now you have a compromised penetration through the decking, that plywood or OSB board. So I always recommend getting the peel and stick. It is a much better product. It lasts a lot longer. And when a hurricane comes and part of your shingles like start flapping around and like fly off or whatever, that secondary water barrier is glued down to the decking. And the way that happens is just from the heat, they lay it down, right? It's like literally you peel it and you stick it. It's like a sticker. And then over time, the heat of the Florida sun kind of melts it in to the decking, and it gives you an insurance reduction. So I highly recommend it. You'll spend probably about $300 to $500 more on that secondary water barrier, the peel and stick, but it's going to save you, probably $100 a year at least. It's really going to pay for itself. And when a hurricane does come and those shingles fly off, it's more apt to being stuck on the decking and still protecting from water intrusion. So I highly recommend the peel and stick secondary water barrier. Next thing is when you're buying or selling your home, or you're buying a home, if the roof is over 15 years old and you have a loan associated with the purchase, they're probably going to want you to replace it. And the lender doesn't actually care. It's just the insurance companies do. They're getting really strict. We're in the second half of 2021 right now. they're getting really strict with how much they're willing to insure, and there's less and less insurance carriers willing to insure a roof that is over 15 years old. Now, we always have Citizens, which is the insurer of last resort, but it is a state-funded insurer, and they will. But if you have like cloth wiring in that house because it's built in the 40s or something, they're not going to insure you. They're going to want a new roof. So there's a whole bunch of ifs and buts to that conversation, which really you should just talk to a lender, I'm sorry, to a insurance agent about. But it's important to know that if you have an old roof and you're looking at a property and it says we'll need a roof, or roof is 10 years old or 15 years old, that's already like a yellow flag, possibly a red flag. If it's 20 years old, that's a red flag that you may not be able to finance the purchase because of the underwriting guidelines of the insurance industry. Now, one more thing that most people don't know about, how you can really save a lot of money. And it costs a little bit, don't get me wrong, it'll cost you at least $1,000 depending on the size of the house. So if it's a home that is old, probably built in the 70s or older or earlier than that, what they have is the clips, right? So basically, just to understand it, the roof is attached to the structure. And at this little area where it attaches, they could be toe nailed in, there could be a clip, there could be 2 nails in the clip or 2.5 nails. Don't get me started on the half nail thing, or maybe 3 nails. So what you want to do is, if you're going to be replacing the roof on an old property, spend the extra money. This is going to be the best bang for your buck you can absolutely get. I'm telling you, every one of my properties, I make sure I do this. That's how important it is. Any investment, any homestead that I have, anything. Because what it does basically is, if you have the roof like this, and it attaches this way, they kind of cut away the long part of the decking temporarily, just remove it, and then they get in and they have the access to the truss, to the building attachment section, and they nail in a clip or add a third nail or whatever it is. And I have one rental property west of Trail on Siesta Drive, which is an Airbnb. And on that property, my insurance went down over $1,000 a year by doing that. It's built in 1955. It had a metal roof. I was already getting significant discounts on my insurance. But I added the third nail, as they call it, and that cost me $1,066. And I'm saving over $1,000 a year on my insurance. Talk about a great return on my investment. And also, I just can feel better that when a hurricane comes, the probability of the actual roof decking flying off is minimal. So this is one of the biggest things you can do. There's a company in town called the Third Nail Guy. The like doing business as company name is called U.S. Code Compliance, which is a very tricky name, just a company. And they do a great job with that, but it's easiest to do that job when you're redoing the roof. The U.S. Code Compliance will actually come in and do it without you redoing the roof. So if you just want to save on insurance, that's a great way to do it. You can just hire them, and they literally send guys into your hot attic that go, when the house is like this, they'll like crawl into the attic and get to the very, very end, nail that extra thing, provide you a wind mitigation report, which is the report needed by insurance companies to be able to give you an accurate quote for insurance and a discount. So this is really, really worth it. I highly recommend it. And if you're redoing the roof, spend the extra money, spend the extra grand or two, and get that done. And this only applies to homes that are, in the 70s or older, because they didn't start doing that third nail until the 80s. And I'm not sure what year exactly it is. It kind of just depends on the build of your home, right? So your home inspection would reveal what you have going on there. So I think that's all I have. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, just give me a call, 941-888-SOLD. My name's Maciek Zaremba. Thanks.